and to connect with the alumni and employers who are in this field. So this session is part of a series of student prep for the CLA internship and career fair. Panelists will speak from their own personal career journeys, as well as offer suggestions for how to get started in this field. So of course, there are broad opportunities that are available within education. So I'm really excited that we have alums from different, or alums and employers from different backgrounds and experiences to share this with you all today. So I would ask that you all unmute yourself and give a brief introduction, your role, your organization, and what you studied in college. And also, as Beth has already noted in the chat, she will be moderating it, or monitoring, excuse me, the chat, and we will be answering questions as able or at the end of the session, depending on the context for it. So I will call on you first, Lisa.
Hi everyone, Lisa Lambert. I'm with the City of Lakes AmeriCorps program. We are a part of the Minneapolis Public Schools. So I am technically a Minneapolis Public School employee, kind of running their AmeriCorps program. And so I have experience both in the Minneapolis Public Schools as an employee in different roles, but also in running an AmeriCorps program that really exposes people to work in education. And I studied English literature in college. So I had no idea what I wanted to do long term. I just really enjoyed literature and studying literature and all that stuff, and ended up still in the education field. So I can definitely speak to even those of you who maybe are not education majors or just aren't really sure where to even begin, because I was definitely in that boat.
Thank you for sharing, Lisa. And I just always love to hear from English majors, because you all are all over the globe in so many different areas and disciplines. So that's excellent. Julie?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Julie Schneider. I'm a recruiter for City Year and have been recruiting for the past 5 years, and have worked with the University of Minnesota for all of those years. I'm also a City Year alum. I served right after my undergrad experience at UW-La Crosse with City Year in Milwaukee. And City Year is a national educational nonprofit, and then we're affiliated with AmeriCorps. So we seek to find 18 to 25-year-olds to serve as tutors and mentors full-time to help students get back on track to graduate high school on time. So for me, I actually started in education, but halfway through was unsure if I wanted to pursue front and center teaching. So I changed my studies to communication and sociology, two very broad things that I didn't really know how they could be applied to, but a lot of different options. Thought about newsprint journalism because I really enjoyed talking with people and hearing their stories. But then also really enjoyed like working with youth and students. And my draw to like wanting to pursue AmeriCorps and specifically City Year is feeling like I wanted to make a positive impact within society while also just gaining a lot of skill sets and perspective along the way. So I'm really fortunate to still be within like the nonprofit and education spaces, and I'm very appreciative that they connect and that I'm in some type of like education realm within my career right now. So thank you all for being here.
Great, thanks, Julie. I think the students here will definitely benefit from you wearing a recruiter hat and an educator's hat as well. And now, Kate, are we having any luck? Oh, yes.
Yes, you can hear me. I'm trying to connect my speakers. I know I'm in a place with background noise, so I'll move in just a second so that you're not hearing super loud noises in a moment. But yeah, my name's Kate. I currently work with urban teachers also as a regional recruitment manager. My pronouns are she and her. And then, yeah, for me personally, I really, especially in college and after college, I just wasn't sure of exactly what I wanted to do. But I had volunteered working with high school students, and then eventually did an AmeriCorps program working with high school students doing after school programs. And just, I don't know, I really love working with teens and young adults and kind of being on that coaching side. And with urban teachers, we specifically work in K through 12 education with options for English and math education. And yeah, I really enjoy I knew that teaching wasn't necessarily the right fit for me, but I'm excited to be kind of still in the realm of education, but also on the nonprofit side. And with that, I am going to turn off my camera for a second, and then I'll move so that I can be more easily heard. It's the fun part of being on a college campus today.
Oh, yes. Thank you for sharing, Kate. Okay, so let's jump into the questions. So first, what are some key things that you think define this career field and those interested in it?
I can start. I think, the work of education is really about helping build future citizens of our country. It's people work. The people who serve in our program are absolutely looking to have an impact. Julie, like you said, it's so interesting too that you were a journalism major. I also was for a while print journalism. And I think it's that love of stories. It's that love of the people that make up our world. And it's not just, I think a lot of our AmeriCorps members go into this work of education because they want to help, they want to give, but what they find is that they get so much in return. So it's not only that giving and helping and, filling the buckets of young people so that they can grow into productive grownups in our world, but that you're also open to hearing, to learning, to learning about people in the world around you through this work. But yeah, a lot of people work, a lot of people interested in those helping professions. Mm-hmm. I would say any role you have in education is going to really fit in that definition.
Thank you for sharing. And I love that idea and that image of a love of stories, because there are so many unique ones out there when it comes to education. Julie, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I think just to, I a lot of what Lisa said is resonating with me, but I think too, like just the willingness to serve and be involved in something kind of greater than yourself is definitely apparent, and it's demanding but really rewarding work. So I think just knowing that, like, your time within maybe like service or AmeriCorps will be long days, but it will be really rewarding in seeing like students progress and relationships being built throughout the time.
Thank you. Kate, do you have anything else to add on what are some key things you think define this career field and those interested in it?
Yeah, I guess what I would have is really broad. There's a lot that you can do. Within education.
I'm going to mute you. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. Okay. Okay, I'll pause while Kate figures out her connectivity issue.
I think there's a lot that you can do within education, but really just finding that kind of like passion and niche for.
Okay.
Whoever that you are working with and kind of whatever kind of students that you are working with, of just kind of having that ability to, I think somebody else said like that storytelling ability as well.
Okay, thank you. So I feel you all three somewhat answered my second question about why you're interested in the field, storytelling, helping others. How were you introduced to it? Some of you had mentioned a few tidbits, but how were you really introduced to it? What was your first foray into the educational field to really get you started? We work with a lot of students who are exploring this, and I, as an instructor in career courses, I always share, it's really great just to jump in with 2 feet and get experience and see if you like it. And so I think especially hearing about those first kind of entry level opportunities to build the resume and understand if it's a good fit.
Well, my first introduction was just I have a lot of family members who work in education. And so for me, it was kind of the model I always saw growing up was different jobs within education field. And so I wanted to try it out, which is one reason why I decided to serve in AmeriCorps. I had a friend who served in AmeriCorps, not in the education field, but I knew education was something I wanted to explore. So I looked at AmeriCorps programs within education. Which I'm sure, as Julie has seen, and you know, both for personally and in her role with City Year, like it's the absolute best way to test out education and see if it's something you want to do. I don't know if you're like me, it's really hard to read about a profession and be like, yes, I want to do that every day. It's getting in there and really seeing and feeling what it's like is what can help you decide. So for me, having that experience working in a school very closely with teachers and seeing what their everyday life was actually made me go, I don't think I want to be a teacher. Like Julie, like you said, I don't want to be front and center teaching every day. And like I say that with so much respect for the profession and just amazement at how teachers do it on a daily basis. It's an incredible job. But it just wasn't something that I wanted to do every day. But I also saw all the other different ways of working in a school and serving youth that wasn't being that front and center teacher. And so for me, from that, I then coordinated the after school program at the school where I was serving. So I got to work in that more youth development, enrichment, after school program, and got that feel before I then became staff of the AmeriCorps program, where we train and hire people to basically full-time volunteer in schools. And I'll just speak to also Chase's question really quick, if I could, for someone interested in technology and design sign. That absolutely, you know, anything that a business needs with technology, education needs as well. We have folks within Minneapolis Public Schools that design your websites, that, you know, really handle, we have district-wide tech people. There's also tech people at every school building. My sister, who also thought she wanted to be a teacher, now works for the U of M with IT, but also worked at school districts with IT. So there's so many possible options as well, even with IT in education.
Lisa, you're speaking my language. Same. A lot of what you said is resonating most definitely. And I think the factor of like doing and trying a program specifically in through AmeriCorps that has, you know, a focus on a certain social issue. For me, it was education and just gaining more experience in a larger city that had a larger public school district was something that I wanted. And it did make me realize that I didn't want to be a front and center teacher. I didn't really want to pursue social work. So I guess it helped me figure out what I didn't want to do, which is okay, I guess, right? Like you don't want to be in a profession that is not the right fit. So yeah, I'll leave it at that because I know we're kind of running short on time.
Kate, do you have anything else to add on this question?
Hi, can you hear me? And I'm not cutting out. Great, amazing. Okay, so sorry. Yeah, and I'm guessing, so for the question, is it why are you interested in this field and how you were introduced to it? Is that correct? Okay. Yeah, so I think for me personally, I, through volunteering, just really saw, I'm from St. Louis, so seeing some of the inequities between different school districts, I really feel like, yeah, it's important that all students are able to succeed within the classroom and realize that I kind of wasn't the best person to lead the classroom. And kind of after volunteering, I sort of transitioned into working with AmeriCorps programs on the program management side and kind of getting to see the administration side of it. And that's what I really enjoy.
Okay, thank you, Kate. So what can exploring students do, especially with wearing your recruiter hats and seeing a lot of different students' resumes and the people that come through your programs? What can they do right now to prepare to enter the education industry?
I know for us, for looking for AmeriCorps members to serve in our program, we love seeing any kind of experience with working with youth. And a lot of times that maybe is being a camp counselor, working in a camp, working for your city's Parks and Rec department. Even if it's something like, being a lifeguard or giving swimming lessons, anything around youth work is huge, because that's really the heart of teaching as well. If you have that ability to next level volunteer in a school and get some of that in school experience, that's also really huge. And again, a really great way to learn if you want to do this or not do this for your full-time career. So that experience is something we absolutely look for.
Julie or Kate, anything else to add, or any unique ones you've seen that have been really awesome?
Yeah, I would say for us, definitely like any experience working with students or with the age group of kids that you're wanting to work with is great. In addition, we like, especially with teaching, we want to see like expertise in that subject area that you're coming to. So I love it when candidates are coming in and really passionate about mathematics or English or biology, whatever subject it is. It's great to see different projects that you've done in your college career too.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Thank you. And Julie?
Yeah, I think too, just feeling like you've had certain experiences that have been different than like you've ever experienced before. So like maybe like community service or service learning opportunities, like maybe domestic or studying abroad, things that really make you kind of think about broader issues and broader perspectives as well.
Thank you.
And I would love to echo that, Julie, just any experience where you've had to interact with people who are unlike you in some way is absolutely something we value. I think education is one of the big battlegrounds for equity. And so especially if you're looking at becoming a teacher in an under-resourced area, you have to have that, equity experience with interacting with people different from you, and be kind of on that journey of self-awareness and also awareness of the issues that other people experience in their daily life too. So absolutely, that's a big one too, Julie.
Yeah. And for those students who are on, if you're not aware, we do have a lot of service learning opportunities through the Center for Community Engaged Learning, and there's courses, as well as Julie mentioned, abroad there are service learning opportunities, so definitely get involved with those, and student groups as well. They could be in subject areas like Kate talked about. Maybe there's robotics and STEM. There's a lot of options. Okay, I know we're running shorter in time. So what are some trends you're seeing in education right now and upcoming changes that you're anticipating?
I don't know if Julie and Kate, you would agree, but this is a really hard time to talk about trends because everything feels different than usual. But I would say equity, a huge focus right now in the education field. I think especially just a lot of what our country has gone through, what this world has gone through, has really increased the focus on the awareness of where equity is needed, and also how much schools are providing on a daily basis to students. I would say that, there's a lot of teachers that are leaving the profession. I think there's going to be an increased need for teachers. There has been, over this last year, a really big focus on social emotional health of our students. So not just the academic piece, but that social emotional piece, which I hope continues, even as we hopefully exit this pandemic, that focus on social emotional and support of our students hopefully also continues. Sorry, Julie, Kate, what else would you add?
Yeah, one thing I think, just feeling like you understand like the values of the organization that you're interested in. I I think we all hear you that like that is an importance that you want within like your next step after your undergrad experience. So I think trying to do as much research as you can for certain organizations and seeing, you know, what their values consist of and if they're front and center, most definitely.
Yeah, and I think for us, like one of the things that we've seen, like especially post-pandemic, the need to be flexible and really adjust your teaching style to that individual student is really important. And I think like one trend that I'm really excited about too, I think on the social emotional end, is kind of a shift in our way that we've thought about discipline in the past, to really kind of move into that restorative focus. I think like that's exciting to see kind of how that'll affect really creating a positive classroom too.
Thank you all. So I have one final question. What are hiring trends and timelines in this field? And of course, they might all look a little different based off of what you do.
I can say just from my experience, typically schools, get their budgets and know who they're going to have to hire in like mid to late spring. So it's really mid to late spring through summer is normally one round of hiring. And then late August into September when, we thought this many kids would show up and this many kids showed up. We need a lot more staff. There's another big burst of hiring. It's a little harder to find spots during the year unless someone leaves their position just because budgets and everything are pretty set for the whole year. So I would say that, mid-spring and early summer, and then again in like August, September are when we tend to see the biggest hiring bouts.
For most AmeriCorps programs, they have various deadlines throughout the fall and spring semesters. Specifically for City Year, that's what we have, 2 in the fall and 4 in the spring. Really up to the candidate of when they'd want to go through the process. But yeah, definitely up to you. And we try to have a lot of options so that you feel most comfortable with going through our process when it works best for your schedule.
Yeah, and I would say ours is kind of the exact same in that you can apply anytime during the year. We also hiring can kind of change in the spring just based on school districts too. So, but yeah, definitely applying in the fall is always, we like it because you get more time to prepare.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask one question that was just asked. What if someone wants to do urban teachers but are out of state? What are the costs and possible support received?
Yeah, it does depend on the city that you go to. So we work in Philadelphia, DC, Baltimore, and Dallas. So that I can provide like more specifics on depending on the location, but sometimes they do have relocation assistance available, but it's based on need. So you do put like a request for it. And then we also pay for housing for the first 2 months. So you do get housing and you do get food. That way you're also able to kind of look at places in person, make that adjustment, get settled in, rather than doing it all virtual too.
Okay, thank you, Kate. I see no questions left. I know that we got started late. I would invite any students who have questions, you could still put them in. And while you put questions in the chat or the QA, I will just summarize some points, which is I'm hearing there's a lot of values alignment with this field, a lot of helpers, a lot of people who want to work with folks from different backgrounds and have that desire that there's more than just education itself and being in front as a teacher. There's a lot of other support services and background that happened as well. And there was something else that I lost my thought process, but that there's just a lot of ways in which you can gain experience and apply it to different roles and programs within the education field. So With that, I see no more questions, and I do want to encourage all the participants that there are open slots, one-on-one sessions, group sessions that are happening at the career field. I'm seeing Julie and Lisa emphatically nod their heads, and so be sure to go over to the it's z.umn.edu/career fair, CLA fair. I'll have Beth put that in the chat as well. So please look at that and sign up for that. There's still opportunities, even though it's tomorrow, you have time to sign up. Quick question I see here, is a master's in education required to join City Year? No, right? No. Yeah, nope, it's not. It's a way to gain experience without having the educational licensure.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so I think that's all I have for you. Thank you so much, panelists, for being here. It was quick and packed and I loved it. So thank you all for sharing that with our students, and we'll be sharing this recording as well so it can impact and connect with even more students. So thank you all for being here today. Happy Fair Week, and I hope you'll have a wonderful afternoon, a fall afternoon at that. So thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Bye.
much.